I'm promising you an update, and this is it, and you will not be disappointed.
Hedge funds coming up with new ways to screw us. Go take a look at that video, especially if you're in the residential real property space or thinking about buying or maybe even selling a house. Hedge funds are doing some new crazy stuff, and she talks about it. Let's get into it further. In a nutshell, a hedge fund owns a house or other residential real property and wants to sell it. But they don't just want to sell it in a normal transaction where somebody either pays cash or, more likely, finances the purchase and then pays that borrowed money over to the seller. Now they want to do something completely different. The hedge fund sets up a limited liability company to own the house. What you're buying is just membership interests in that limited liability company, and you get more interests as you make more payments. Stop making the payments, then the hedge fund just takes the LLC interests back and you have nothing. There are lots of things now that you can't do. For example, recording a homestead that will give you some protection against creditors. Refinance, because there really is no financing. Get a home equity line of credit, because you don't own the real property. How would you even sell it? What are you selling? You don't own the real property. You don't own all the membership interests. Would the seller, the owner of most of the interests in the limited liability company, have an obligation to allow you to sell? That's not clear. It reminds me of something from law school called a contract for sale or a contract for deed. What that says is you don't get the deed until you've made all the payments to the seller. And if you miss a payment, then you simply don't get the deed and you get kicked out of the property. Now, in a state like mine, Nevada, which is a deed of trust state, that looks like a mortgage. If it walks like a mortgage and talks like a mortgage, it's probably a mortgage. And that means, at least in Nevada, that the seller would then have to foreclose out that interest as a mortgage. It could take a couple or more years in court to do that. They don't want to have to go through that. They just want to take back what you already bought if you miss a payment and kick you out and make it difficult to sell and make all sorts of other things difficult too. So if you're buying a house and you get a structure like this, or if you get a very long, complicated purchase agreement that's talking about LLC interests and you don't know what they mean, well, talk to your realtor, other real estate professional, or a real estate lawyer to see what's really going on. Why? Well, the hedge fund is not your friend. They're trying to make money for themselves and their investors. They probably don't give two shits about you. So be very, very careful if you see a structure like this. If I did, I would run.